Hey Mom, can I have a quarter? Fragon here again with an update video on my strength stacking juggernaut. So in my last video I talked about doing a conversion to chaos damage, focusing on replica Alberon's warpath to add my flat damage, replacing the Brutus Lead Sprinkler with a Death's Hand, and switching my main ability to Boneshatter. As you can see, I didn't stick with it because I reverted back to the Tukahamas, the Dawnstrider, and the Brutus. But I do have some information on the build. So what I did was, looking at Boneshatter's flat physical damage, which is substantial, plus the trauma you gain from adding stacks, along with a little bit of flat physical damage from a good Death's Hand Karui Scepter, and I bought one corrupted with a little extra critical strike chance, which brought it up to 11.5, which is really high. Obviously dropping Dawnstrider and Tukahama's Fortress, because you're not totem based, you don't want these two pieces of gear anymore, and you need to replace the Dawnstrider with Alberons to get the flat chaos per strength. I switched out to the shield, which had nice reservation efficiency, allowed me to get period of elements, haste, and determination while using a cluster jewel that had mana efficiency and the haste reservation, and taking a few. I did take this reservation wheel up here when I had that before too. Did a couple other changes. Switched from my elemental cluster to this one with mace and scepter, and actually got weight advantage, which is much better, and I stuck with it even after the swap back to fire, because weight advantage is so good for strength stackers, giving double damage chance, and the 20 flat strength is huge. So still very cheap. So other things I was doing, I was using crit still. I was very crit capped like nothing with this mace doing crit. It was so easy to get up there when you have Assassin's Mark on. Using Void Manipulation because it's all chaos damage, because Alberon's only lets you do chaos. Like I said, Boneshatter because of the flat physical, and the flat physical on Death's Hand, and you're like, hey, you're doing physical damage that doesn't work with Alberon's, but Death's Hand's last line, gain Unholy Might for 4 seconds on a critical strike, converts all your physical damage to chaos, and gives you 25% chance to wither on hit. So it was applying lots of withers, and Unholy Might was up constantly because, like I said, I was crit capped and just critting on every hit basically. I was using Fortify because now I was doing damage myself and could get Fortify, which is fantastic, along with the 7 endurance charges, which is 28 reduction. Fortify gives you another 20, so you're looking at 48 reduced damage from hits with that up with the 7 charges. Very good. I was using Ruthless. I was using Melee Splash for clearing, and then switching out to Endurance Charge on Melee Stun. I didn't want Multi-Strike because I didn't want to feel like I was trapped in place, and this with 7 Endurance Charges was pretty good buff. So that's what I was using for skill gems. I bought the 6-link Iron Fortress. As you can see, I still just using a 5-link for support stuff in my regular build. I've recolored it for a different character. Shield was good. Like I said, it gave me the reservation efficiency, gave me a bunch of flat strength, gave me a nice chunk of armor. Nothing special, so I didn't spend a lot. I bought this with the corruption and no links, and just linked it myself with tainted currency. So probably Alberon's probably cost me about 9 divines. This, when I had it finished, maybe cost me 2 divines. The shield was cheap, 40, 50 chaos. This was cheap, 30 chaos or something. So it did not add a ton of expense to the build. I found a huge increase in damage. So if you like the Boneshatter playstyle, it pumped out damage, converting all the flat from this and this into chaos with the Unholy Might. Really gave you a nice chunk of base low level damage, which you don't normally get with Alberon's. It's a huge dispersion between the 1 to 80. So a lot of people will use volatility support with this, but With these two pieces of gear, or this piece of gear and this gem, I did not do that, and was hitting well over a million tooltip DPS very quickly with trauma stacks ramping up very easily. So it was fantastic. The damage was outstanding, but I just didn't like the quality of life. Just walking around and dropping these totems and not having to engage in mechanics or any of that stuff just made the playstyle of this so much better. So that's what happened to the build. I'm keeping it as is. I'm going to use him for what he is. A fantastic overall all-arounder. Very hard to kill, very safe, very relaxed playstyle. Super good at lots of content, and I'm just going to keep him as fire and use him to farm some currency. I did make a different character with these two pieces of gear since I bought them, so I will have a strength stacking shrapnel ballista iron commander, replica iron commander guide coming out to show what I'm going to do with the gear that I spent on this guy. I basically dumped all the rest of my currency. I'm down to a couple divines and a handful of chaos into that guy, but still kept him cheap. I would guess I made the gear and everything probably for about 15 divines roughly. So anyway, I'll get to that build at some point in the next few days, but just wanted to give a update on this character and the fire to chaos conversion that I talked about. Oh, I don't want to undersell this either. If you liked working on this playstyle or like the Boneshatter playstyle, you could spend a lot of currency and make this build outstanding. I think Counter Converse has a guide on what he did with Molten Strike of the Zenith, and he spent mirrors and mirrors worth of currency on his upgrades, and he came up with just a brute. I don't know if you'd reach those levels with Boneshatter and Death's Hand, but you could definitely get this good. Like I said, with the modifications I made, I turned this build from as it is right now, fire probably 2 divines worth of gear, something like that in there, not much more than that, into 2.5, 3, 4 tops divines worth of gear, switch into this stuff. If you wanted to spend hundreds or mirrors worth of stuff, you could make massive damage with this and really have a fun playstyle, I think. So anyway, that's it for the update on the strength stacking jug. All right, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you very much.